Be ready. It'll be here any minute. Is that a rifle?
You don't know what a rifle looks like?
It's just swords were your thing and guns were mine. But I guess we're both doing guns now. I just didn't know that.
Well, that's intense.
Millions of moviegoers flooded theaters this weekend to see Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy 2. This comes 2 weeks after tens of thousands of Americans marched for science, as Americans' appetite for science and science fiction seems to be at an all-time high. Our next guest has written a handy go-to guide on astrophysics and dark matter. And joining me now live in studio is Neil deGrasse Tyson, director of the Hayden Planetarium at the American Museum of National History and the author of the new book, Astrophysics for People in a Hurry. Neil deGrasse Tyson, thank you very much for being here.
And happy anniversary.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
You've been around the sun 584 million miles.
A full revolution.
That's a full revolution.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So this book, by the way, congratulations, #1. We were talking in the break on Amazon.
Yeah, it's been #1 in all books, which is just crazy. That's completely crazy.
But I think it's not crazy, because I feel like there is a hunger and sort of a reinvigoration of the hunger for sort of intellect and science as it feels that it's under attack on the other side.
I'm glad you said it exactly that way, because I think there always was a little bit of a hunger.
Right.
But if there's nothing there to feed it, it just kind of it languishes there.
Yeah.
I think of it as an ember that kind of stays a low burn, but if you fan it and feed it, then it can burst back into flames and create an energetic surge in people's interest in science. And it manifests in multiple ways. And I think I would directly credit this rise in interest in science to people's appetite for well thought out science fiction films.
Yeah.
So you get the movies like The Martian, where science was its own character, basically, in that movie. You just want to find out how much science he knew to not die in that movie, right? So it was a science thing.
Yeah. And I mean, I grew up on Star Trek, the original one, which is the best one. Sorry, it is the best one.
You are not that old. Just don't even go there.
Black don't crack. And you know, and of course, what I loved about, apart from everything about it, James T. Kirk and Lieutenant Uhura, who was the greatest character, is the fact that it did sort of take science and put it into the realm of the future possible. And there were actual innovations that people made. I mean, you think about the flip phone, which used to actually be cool.
Right,
you know, and
now it's old.
Now it's old, but it came, you know, you sort of saw the evolution of possible technology and also sort of looking at space as something searchable.
It's because the creators of it, Eugene Roddenberry at the top of that pyramid, thought very hard about what was plausible future versus, okay, let's have warp drives. We don't know if we'll ever get there. But here we have a machine, you put in a card and food comes out hot immediately. I remember seeing it in first run. I said, no, that'll never happen.
And it did. So, you know, let's talk about on the other side of it, because to some people, science is this fascinating, amazing sort of thing, and to other people, it's frightening. So if you could, I mean, astrophysics sort of, because it involves the birth of the universe, the sort of where did it all come from, it competes with a sort of religious notion of that in a way that frightens people, right?
Well, I don't think it's only that. I think people are frightened of what they don't understand, particularly if what they don't understand has power. A kind of mysterious power. And part of the mystery is the absence of understanding. So I, as an educator, always sort of look back in the kindergarten through 12 trajectory and ask, you know, it's one thing to just feed people knowledge, even in the form of science, but it's another thing to learn how to think about information and process information and learn how to embrace new discoveries so that you have a sense of curiosity that'll get you to that you'll be self-driven to understand it. And once you understand it, let's go with it. Let's do it.
When people meet you, you talk about people in a hurry. When people are in a hurry and they meet you and they have like 60 seconds, what's the question people most ask you?
It's a bunch. You know, where did it all come from? It'll almost always end up, is there God? They usually put a few questions in
the middle, but that's where they're going.
They usually land there. And so, but I monitor this and I look to see when do people's eyes brighten when they ask a question or when I answer. And I process that. And what I found is not everyone is equally interested in all things, but what I did was digest that which people are most taken by. And so this is a curated offering of the most mind-blowing things in the universe.
Well, I guess the fundamental two questions. So #1, can God and evolution exist together, coexist?
Well, it depends on which God. If it was Zeus, is it Krishna, is it... So typically in the United States, people are referring to the Judeo-Christian, the monotheistic God. And if you use the Bible as your science textbook, no. There is no reconciling these two. But enlightened modern religious people recognize their holy text as figurative accounts in a time when people had no other way to think about it, and they embrace science, but they use the Bible for their own sort of spiritual fulfillment and enlightenment. Galileo even knew this, who himself was a religious man, though he's not remembered that way, but he was a devout Catholic. He's famous for saying, the Bible tells you how to go to heaven, not how the heavens go.
Yeah, there you go. Well, it is literalism that sort of in all religions appears to be the enemy. I have to ask you this other question, because you know I got to ask it. Are we alone in the universe?
Not likely. And only if you just look at the numbers, how long the universe has been here, the fact that our ingredients that comprise life, hydrogen, oxygen, carbon, nitrogen, they're the most common ingredients across the universe everywhere. And so, and plus on Earth, life got underway almost as quickly as it possibly could have in single-celled organisms. So, you know, life is the most complex kind of chemistry we know, but nature apparently had no problems working it out in its own lab. And so, as we look for life, probably the first life we'll find will be microbial. They'll be probably rarer to find complex life. And of course, who defines us as intelligent? We do. So who knows whether an actual other intelligent species will think the same way about us as we do.
And then the aliens eat us all up like in the movie. That is how it ends.
Thank you. Tasty bits.
We're tasty. That's it. Neil deGrasse Tyson with that bit of wisdom. We're tasty. And up next, the plot continues to thicken as Trump's favorite news network and on his favorite news network, I'm nervous, and my one-on-one with the creator of the great new Netflix series, Dear White People. More AM after the break.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.